This is Hragnette, a civil servant from Falkreath. She's been asked to conduct a civil survey of Lake Ilinalta to check it for erosion. Being the largest and perhaps only body of water in the Ilinalta Valley, it's been worryingly prone to flooding during heavy rain, and erosion during any amount of rain. So to check on it, the Jarl has asked Hragnette to pore over every centimetre of lake shore to make sure it isn't eroding any more than it should be. How much Lake Ilinalta should be eroding is quite a difficult question. Under ideal circumstances, it wouldn't really be eroding at all. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. The question of how much Lake Ilinalta should be eroding is... The roads in Falkreath can be a bit difficult to navigate. It might be best to take a shortcut north over the cliff. It isn't much of a cliff, thankfully, really more of a slope. Slope with built-in deer, also known as an elk or perhaps reindeer. A reindeer who seems to be getting a little bit confused. Ah, there we go, he's found his way. Lovely orange fox there, having a little stroll along the path. It's extremely foggy this afternoon, but the fox doesn't seem to have any trouble working out where it's going. Well, as far as the fox is concerned, it's going forwards, might as well just be whatever's in front of it, so no worries there. Now, depending on how you look at it, Lake Ilinalta probably starts around here. This general area is where it gives way to the White River, so this is where we'll start our all-important survey. It doesn't look as if this cliff's in any danger of eroding. You have some moss or perhaps pondweed along the bank here. Doesn't look as if this segment's eroding in any real hurry. Along here we even have grass. It isn't very steep. To the left here we have an island. Unfortunately, Hragnette is going to have to get wet again for this segment. The ground's clearly fertile enough to hold grass, and it's very smooth, barely sloping out of the water at all. So you know what, it probably isn't eroding along here. Along here we have a couple of pine trees. Their roots, as you should know, can hold the soil in place. This one took a bit of butterfly. This tree took a bit of a tumble into the lake. Here we have a bit of a rocky outcropping. Could be that softer soil eroded all the way back to this rock. This gravelly shore. The riverbank is getting quite close to the road along here. Nice grassy and gravelly shoreline along here. Again, it doesn't look too much in danger of erosion. The slaughterfish are nesting along here, as you can see, and there's a tree. It doesn't seem to be interfering too badly with the current. Now, this little cliff along here could be at risk of eroding. Yes, if the water digs out too much more down there, it is probably going to collapse in. Bees. Bees? Why, this island's positively lousy with bees. I don't quite remember what type of potion you can make out of bees. Ah, here's a fisherwoman. I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years. Well, let's leave them to it. Gather up this last couple of bees.
Until next time.
Apart from this tree and this patch of thistles, not much seems too at risk from the erosion, so we can leave that island for now. There's a bit of clay here above the gravel. If the water laps too high, it could erode it a bit. Although, in Skyrim, clay does tend only to appear in small, highly localized patches. It isn't too much of an issue in civil engineering. The rocky outcroppings again don't seem to be a huge risk for erosion. Zed fighting aside, this channel here does run the risk of focusing the water's force onto this area of bank. The lake could creep along this way and perhaps even cut off the little mountain. That isn't likely to happen too quickly, though. So I'd say again, it's fine for now. Bit of exposed stone along here. And here we have some cliff. If we have too many waves lapping up here, it could damage it. But again, not too much risk. We've made it most of the way along the southern side of Lake Ilinalta, all the way to this island here. At first glance, it doesn't seem to be at much risk from erosion. We do have what looks like an exposed iron ore vein. And here, of course, we have one of the famous standing stones. The Lady Stone. With its little retinue of flowers and butterflies. There isn't a lot of rocky shore separating the lake waters from the grass. But something tells me the Lady Stone isn't just going to sit there and let herself be eroded. Down here, interestingly enough, we have a ship. And a chest. And some barnacles. You'll have to forgive Hragnette her eccentricities. She loves doing a bit of alchemy in her spare time. And free Nordic barnacles are nothing to turn one's nose up at. Bit of a flower patch around here. Some very interesting obelisks, someone with a scarf some people seem to have left. It's a grave! He just stole lavender from a grave site. That's hardly appropriate behaviour for one of Falkreath's civil servants. But we weren't to know, so I won't tell if you won't. Following a minor wolf incident, we're coming up on the western bend of Lake Ilinalta. There's another small patch of clay here, and it feels pleasantly squidgy underfoot. The shore here gives way to more cliffs. They're fairly stony and sloping steadily downwards, don't seem to be in any immediate risk of erosion. A bit of free food's always appreciated. Down here, carefully now, down here we have interesting case of grass growing right up to the edge of the stony cliff. And it's right on the edge of Half Moon Mill. The water's flowing through here pretty comfortably. It probably isn't going to erode Half Moon Mill anytime soon. In fact, the power of the water is exactly what's needed here to turn the big wheel to make the thingy go up and down, to cut these into smaller segments. Here's a chicken. Ah, and here's what's-her-name, hard at work.
Here for work? Get an axe and bring me all the wood you can chop.
Oh, actually, I'm here doing a survey of this, an erosion survey of the lake. Do you get many guests, incidentally?
We have guests as often as we can, but there aren't a lot of travelers these days. The war keeps people off the roads.
That's understandable. Gosh, your eyes really are glowing quite brightly. Anyway, would it be alright if I spent the night here? Looks like it's getting a bit late. It may not be that late, but with visibility already reduced in the fog, Hragnette isn't going to get much more surveying done today. Perhaps we'll take shelter up here in the mill for the night. It seems comfy enough, doesn't it? Oh, Stendar, my back is absolutely killing me. Yes, on second thought, sleeping in the mill might not have been the best idea in history. Still, it's a lovely morning. Lovely, overcast, miserable morning. Might be best to get the hard hat on. That's what hard hats look like in Skyrim. I'm pretty sure it's the Thalmor's fault somehow. Right off the bat, this cliff seems to be a little precarious. It's fairly stony looking, but it's already being eaten out underneath. It could quite easily topple into the water. This one too is jutting over the water a little bit. We should check if there's anything important on top of the cliff. The cliff top seems fairly bare for now. It won't be the end of the world if this particular cliff collapses into Lake Ilinalta. Here we have a campfire. The gentleman here. A bit of a strange looking small... Oh, that's a goblin. Not ideal to have them camping so close to Half Moon Mill, but they don't seem to be doing any harm here. Little fishing spot and campsite. How's life treating you then?
I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years.
How wonderful. Here we have a couple more trees. They'll hold onto the soil with their roots. It's pretty steep, so there is a risk of some of the soil flooding down into the lake. That would be a sort of reverse erosion, filling the lake in along here a little, if only temporarily. Here, past this Nern route, we have a little rocky outcrop. These must have been here for quite some time. They probably aren't going to erode in a hurry. Now over there we have Ilinalta's Deep, an ancient fortress now lost to time. Ilinalta's Deep probably was a victim of erosion, at least in part. Potion of resist fire, that's always important for imps. It's an electric type imp. But regardless, no match for our heroine. Of course that one's a shock imp as well. So, in terms of erosion, Ilinalta's Deep could actually be serving as a breakwater, preventing any strong waves or currents from getting to the shore over there. Although, of course, it came at the cost of sacrificing Ilinalta's Deep itself. Anyway, past the fortress, we have this rocky bit. Shouldn't be easy to erode. And this little outspur of land. Clearly the trees are doing some of the work to hold the soil in place. The waters come here past the rock. Pretty steep cliffs. There could be some risk of erosion, but it wouldn't be a serious threat to anyone. Moving past Brittleshin Pass, we have this sloping foresty bit. Perhaps a low to medium risk for erosion. A little jetty collapsing into the water. I'm not quite sure how long it's been there for, but it seems... well, if it's just for Brittleshin Pass, it can't be of too much importance. Here's another craggy place. Erosion could be a bit of a threat. But again, there's nothing important on top of these cliffs, so we don't need to worry about them immediately. This bit seems pretty flat. Could be at risk of flooding, or having the soil washed away. This bit here now. Barnacle slaughterfish? Slaughterfish? Best to get out of the water for now. These might be eroded by a few strong waves. Here we have a strange circle of stones. Doesn't seem too important, so let's carry on. And now it seems we're getting towards the end of the survey. There's the fishing camp on the other bank near where we started. And another little clay deposit. Here's where Lake Ilinalta gives way to the White River. I think that little waterfall down there might be where it officially starts being a river. But here could also be where it officially starts being a river. I don't know if there's a strong scientific consensus on the difference between a lake and a river. I didn't know there was a cabin here. Sir? Don't worry, I've got him. I've got him on the ropes. There, now. Is that going to be it for goblins today?
Well, hello. It's so nice to have a visitor. Oh, I get so lonely out here. Do stay for a while, dear.
That's very kind of you, madam. I might stay here and rest my legs for a bit before moving on. Hope the goblins haven't been giving you too much trouble.
Until next time.
And back to Falkreath. We had a nice, comfortable rest in that innocent old woman's cabin, but now it's time to give the Jarl the good news.
You look a bit peaked. You sure you shouldn't be home in bed?
Don't worry, my Jarl. It's just the glow of triumph after an honest day's work. I have completed my report into the risks of erosion to Lake Ilinalta. My conclusion is that Lake Ilinalta is very, very wet. And it's probably best if we don't build any cities right next to it within the next 12 to 13 years. Is that what you're hoping for?
Come and see me again sometime. I might have some use for you.
Of course, sir. Happy to help. Honestly, the attitude of the man. He asks me to do a bloody survey of a whole bloody lake and doesn't even have anything to say about it. I need to go and get drunk.